entering the NJCU season was a unique circumstance for, I think, everyone involved, the athletes as well as the coaching staff. I actually took the job 11 days before the preseason started. And then Coach Mike actually jumped on 1 day before the preseason. So we were put into a unique situation to get stuff done really, really quickly. And to make a long story short, Stephanie Duque wasn't even going to play volleyball this year. She had already made the decision that she was just going to focus on her academics. She's very, academically driven, and I envy that about her. And she told the girls, I'm just going to sit this one out. I don't think it's something that I'm really all in for. And so when Mike and I entered the preseason, we took a look at our roster and kind of what we had to work with. We were a little concerned that we would be missing a very important piece, which is a 6 rotation player, somebody who can play all the way around and dedicate a lot of stats to our squad. So we talked to our athletic administrator, Danielle Beam, and she had mentioned Duque. And, by the way, we call her Duque, but her name is Stephanie. And just for all of you watching this, she hates that. So call her Duque if you don't want to be one of those pictures behind her. Basically, we approached her and asked her if she would join the team, if she wanted to be a part of this and finish out her career. And I tried to pitch it to her as, hey, you're not going to be able to do this forever. And, you'll look back on this one day and probably regret it if you don't do it. Because I've had those situations happen around me. People wish they would have been able to play. So she inevitably decided to play. I think once we had the conversation, there was a whole bunch of logistical nightmares with classes and practice schedules and games. And we really made do. And she expressed her concern to me, and I told her, dude, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work on everything we need to make this happen. And I'm so glad that she decided to play, because I think we would have had a much more difficult season. We already had a difficult season. We would have had a much more difficult season without her. And she was a great leader. Both of these girls that we're talking about right here today, Diana and Stephanie Duque, are both fantastic leaders. I think they really, really had to step up. We had a bunch of young players this last season that had drama, and they were experienced college for the first time. They had class issues, and both of these seniors stepped up and did a really good job at saying, hey, let's keep our composure here. Let's work really hard. Diana started off on fire at the beginning of the season. Both Coach and I, we looked at each other like, who's this? She's crushing it, man. She statistically started off the season as one of our best attackers and one of our most consistent players. And then she kind of dwindled as it went. She has a bunch of injuries that she's been battling for a long time. And I think the moral of the story here is we wouldn't have been nearly as successful. And I say that very lightly because I don't think that we were super successful this last season by any means, but I think we would have had far more difficulty if these two players weren't a part of our program. So I really appreciate you guys, taking a leap of faith to stay on with a new coaching staff in your senior year, battling academics and working. I know both of you still have jobs, and working, going to school, and playing volleyball is super difficult. And I'm so proud of you guys. Mike and I spoke about this at the end of the season, like right around senior night. It wasn't what you guys brought to the volleyball court that impresses me the most. It was what you brought to the holistic part of being a team player and a leader that I was impressed with. And I think that goes a long way. Diana, you're coaching already. Duque, maybe you'll jump in and coach at some point, have something to do with kids. I know you said you weren't the biggest fan of kids, but you like animals. Maybe you'll teach animals how to play volleyball. I don't know. But the moral of the story here is I appreciate you guys beyond belief, and I hope you guys come back. And if you decide to go to grad school or still want to be involved in volleyball, please don't hesitate. We would love to have you guys as student assistants, grad assistants if Mr. Tucker allows us to have that position, but we would love to have you guys come be a part of the program. I want all of my alumni to always come back and be a part of the program, because that shows a lot about, leaving a good taste in their mouths as they leave your program. So that's my statement.
Just with coming in with the new staff, I know it's a little tough. Being that you guys were with a different staff prior to us getting there, but you guys took everything we threw at you, especially when it comes to leadership roles. and you adapted, and you guys were a really good role model for our underclassmen across the board. Like I said, Coach Justin kind of hit it all on the head, but I think the most important thing is, come back, be an active a part of like a new alumni group that we're really. I know Ira's a huge part of this, but we're really trying to grow our alumni network. And you guys kind of have to be like the frontier, and you guys have to really contribute to that. And when we have alumni matches, come back and try to reach out to other alumni, because at the end of the day, the program, it's not Coach Justin and I. The program is the players that played and that are constantly going to play in the future, and that have played in the past. And you guys are what NJCU volleyball is, not Jay and me. Because you could change the coaching staff, but what's at the university and who's been part of that history and the programs, that's what makes it a program. You guys got to help us take the next step to make that a bigger presence within the program.
Diana, you were a 4-year contributor to this program. For you, what did it mean to you to play a sport you love for 4 years at the collegiate level?
Honestly, it was amazing. It was one of like my best college experiences. Even like when I was injured and when I was not able to play my sophomore year, I still stuck around. Like I still came to the games, the practices. I helped out a little bit because I just loved being in that environment. I just loved the support. I loved supporting my teammates. They're also my friends. It was definitely a great experience, and if I could do it all over again, I would. Maybe not the injuries, but definitely the playing. But it was definitely a great experience. It's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it's definitely something that I encourage my girls to do. I coach club, so I definitely try to talk to them about playing in college. I have 14s and I have 16s, so I usually try to talk to the 16s and kind of encourage them to talk about, if they want to go to college, and if they do they want to play, and kind of encourage them to do that. So hopefully some of them will go on and play in college.
At NJCU, obviously.
Yes, of course.
Make sure.
Stephanie, you took a kind of a leap of faith. You started your career at Montclair State. You knew you wanted to play this at the collegiate level, and you came over to NJCU and you became a key part of this program for 4 years. Looking back, how thankful are you that you became part of this family and part of this Gothic Knight athletic program?
Actually, I'm really, really happy about that. Like you said, I went to Montclair for 1 year. Then I transferred to NJCU, played 4 years, went to school there this is my 4th year. And like Justin had mentioned before, I almost didn't play my last season because of school and whatnot, and like having to put my priorities straight. But I'm definitely glad I was able to play my last year. Considering I'm always doing homework and like always studying, and like I just have like my major is pretty difficult. I'm glad that I was able to play, only because it was just more of like a getaway for me. For me, it was just like my time to be able to relax and just like take my mind off of school basically. So I was just able to like have fun with all the girls and everything. And like Coach said earlier, transitioning from one coach to another, especially my last season, was definitely a challenge. I would be like, it was definitely a challenge for me, only because like you get so accustomed to learning things from previous coaches, and then when you're learning things from other coaches, it's like, wow, like people are really different. But I'm glad that I was able to experience 2 different coaches, because not a lot of people get to have different people get to mentor them like as you're going through college. But it all ended up well. Like I was able to have 2 great coaches, well, several coaches with the assistant coaches, of course, and I had lots of fun my last season. So I was definitely glad that I was able to play my last season.
Can you tell us about how you were successfully able to manage really 3 things going on in your life at the same time: being a good student in a challenging major, being a student athlete and one of the the leaders of this team statistically the last 4 years, and also working at the same time?
Yeah, that was definitely a challenge. Not gonna lie, that was really difficult. I spend a lot of times studying, most of my times, even if it's like on the bus or like right before a game or something. Like I'm always studying or doing homework. So it was difficult maintaining grades, but I was able to like manage it because I like we get study hall and like I would go to the library and stuff like that. So that all became easier as the years went by. But definitely my freshman year and like sophomore year, it was very difficult just because I was getting accustomed to everything. So but I am grateful for the athletic department, though. They did help me a lot. If it wasn't for them, my grades would not be as great as they are, to be honest.
And what are your future plans upon graduation?
I'm planning on getting a job, hopefully in my field. I've been applying to like entry level jobs in my field to get some experience, and I also want to go into real estate, get my real estate license. So as soon as I graduate, I'll be able to focus on that more. So that's the plan.
Okay, so I'm a biology major, and like Justin mentioned earlier, I do love animals. So hopefully with that, I'll be able to, well, my plan is to eventually go to, like once I graduate, to go to vet school and probably move out of the state, so start a whole new career somewhere else. But yeah, vet school is definitely going to be it for me.